Welcome to the deep dive. We take source material articles, notes, even short dialogues, and we really pull them apart to find the key insights you can use.
Exactly.
And today the source we're looking at it seems almost too simple. It's a short text, just some excerpts from a dialogue called Steady Steps Toward a Bright Future.
And it is deceptively simple.
Yeah,
I mean, if you just skim this conversation between Jeremy and Olivia, you'd probably just see a bunch of motivational phrases.
right. Things we've all heard before. You might even just dismiss it.
But that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To show you the rigorous sequential structure that's hiding just beneath the surface. This isn't just a list of feel-good sayings.
No.
It's a complete toolkit, a, a philosophical and psychological system designed to help you manage that crushing anxiety about the future and actually guarantee you make progress.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who wants to learn something quickly and thoroughly, the biggest enemy is always that feeling of being overwhelmed. Paralysis. This short text, though, it gives you a step-by-step guide to get past that. It builds a framework for resilience from 7 sort of core ideas, and it all starts from a place of radical honesty.
That's what's so fascinating. It validates how you're feeling before it asks you to do anything. It doesn't just jump to be optimistic.
No.
It recognizes the future is complex,
Mm-hmm.
and then it moves you step by step from, feeling understood to taking action, then to building resilience, and finally to just powerful persistence. It's a perfect psychological loop.
Okay, so let's break down that foundation because it's so important. The dialogue opens with Jeremy and Olivia talking about the future, and Olivia says this: "The future can be scary, but it can also be exciting."
Yes.
Why is it so necessary to hold those two ideas at the same time? I mean, wouldn't it be easier to just, focus on the exciting part?
You'd think so, but that's just blind optimism.
And that,
And that's,
well,
well, that sets you up to be completely devastated the first time something goes wrong.
oh,
The power of holding both the scary and the exciting is that it's a formal technique. It's something out of cognitive psychology called reframing.
reframing the anxiety itself.
Exactly. Because Jeremy immediately agrees with the scary part. He says, true, sometimes I feel worried. And that worry isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's data.
Right.
Acknowledging the scary part normalizes that feeling you get when you're facing a huge challenge, like learning a whole new skill. If you try to build progress on just denial, the first sign of trouble will shatter your confidence.
Okay, so the scary side normalizes worry. What does the exciting side bring to the table other than just motivation?
The exciting side provides the pull. It's that positive vision that makes all the effort and the risk feel worthwhile. It's the reward.
Nice, yeah.
Without the risk, the scary part, the excitement can make you reckless. But without the excitement, the fear just leads to stagnation. So this balanced view is like a strategic governor. The fear keeps you careful, and the excitement keeps you moving forward. You need both.
That is a much deeper take on what sounds like such a casual comment. So, okay, we've balanced the emotional landscape, we've acknowledged the anxiety. How do we get from that acceptance to actually moving?
Well, the dialogue pivots immediately.
Hmm.
Jeremy goes from that philosophy to a very practical action strategy.
Right, for when the goal just feels too big.
Exactly. And his go-to phrase is the classic, one step at a time.
We've all heard that a million times. What's the deep dive insight here? I mean, doesn't everyone already know that?
The insight isn't in the words, it's in what the words do. They're a direct antidote to analysis paralysis.
Okay.
When you're facing something huge, learning a new language, starting a massive project, the sheer size of it is what stops you. You see the entire mountain and you just stall.
It's scope management, basically. Don't look at the 100 chapters, just look at page 1.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It breaks the intimidating challenge down into the smallest possible unit of action. It lowers the activation energy you need just to start. You don't have
Yeah.
to solve the whole thing today, just the next tiny piece.
But here's the key part, right? He pairs this with another idea.
Yes, and this is critical. He pairs that action plan with a very specific metric for success. He says a little progress every day is enough.
Okay, I want to challenge that combination a bit. If you're only taking one step at a time, doesn't that feel incredibly slow? Especially if you're in a field that moves fast, like tech. Couldn't you fall behind?
That is a fantastic question. And it's exactly why you have to look at these two phrases together. One step at a time sets the how. That's your method.
The process.
Yes. And a little progress every day is enough sets the floor. That's your minimum acceptable standard.
So it's not about hitting some huge milestone every day. It's just about Maintaining contact with the goal, maintaining continuity.
Precisely. The power isn't in how big the step is, it's in the consistency. The fact that it happens every single day.
And that achieves two things, I'm guessing.
It does. First, you get that compounding effect.
Yeah.
Learning 5 new words or reading 1 research paper, it seems like nothing, but it starts to stack up, and that creates real momentum.
And the second thing.
It guarantees you get a win every day. It totally defeats perfectionism, which is like the ultimate killer of learning. If you define success as master the topic, you're going to fail every day until the very end, and you'll burn out. But if success is a little progress, you win daily. And that builds the psychological fuel you need for the next day.
That makes the whole process sustainable. So, okay, we have the mindset, the dual reality, we have the action plan. Small, consistent steps. But what happens when you hit a wall? When it gets hard?
And it will get hard. That's where Olivia's tools come in. She shifts to internal fortitude, to what you do to stay in the game. She says, I like that. I say, I can do it, even when things are hard.
The internal affirmation.
The proactive mechanism.
I have to ask, though, for someone who values objective knowledge, isn't just saying I can do it a little bit like wishful thinking? Especially if, objectively, you don't have the skill yet.
It is so important to be realistic, but that's the point. The affirmation isn't a statement of fact. It's a tool.
A tool for what?
It's not about convincing yourself you magically have a skill. It's about priming your brain to apply effort. When you get confused, your default reaction is often, I can't do this, or I should just stop.
Right.
Saying I can do it interrupts that negative thought pattern. It's a verbal commitment to keep trying, no matter how hard it feels right now.
So it's the mental armor you need to keep taking those steady steps when the path gets rough.
Exactly. It brings your focus back to your own agency, your ability to try instead of the size of the challenge. But Olivia knows that trying means you're going to make mistakes.
Of course. Error is inevitable.
So she immediately connects her affirmation to error acceptance. She says, yes. And it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes help us learn.
Now, those two ideas, it's okay to make mistakes and mistakes help us learn. A lot of people lump those together as one concept, but you're saying they're two distinct sequential stages.
They are. And the sequence is vital.
Why is the it's okay part so critical? Why does it have to come before the learning part?
Because it creates what we call psychological safety. When you make a mistake, especially when you're trying to learn something fast, your brain can register that failure as a threat.
And that triggers a fight or flight response.
Right, which shuts down the very parts of your brain, the analytical, creative parts that you need for actual learning. If you feel shame or fear about being wrong, you won't analyze the error. You'll run from it.
So you hide from the topic entirely.
That's the mechanism. So saying it's okay to make mistakes, that's the psychological first aid. It removes the shame, it neutralizes the fear. And once that judgment is gone, the mistake stops being a source of pain, and it just becomes data.
Pure neutral data.
Only then can you actually get to the second part. Mistakes help us learn.
So the first phrase is the emotional release, and the second is the instructional command.
Wow.
That's profound. It fully bakes failure into the process itself, not as an interruption.
It turns data into destiny. For anyone who wants to learn something thoroughly, being afraid to be wrong is the single biggest bottleneck. This framework it formalizes how you accept and analyze errors, guaranteeing every single stumble helps you succeed.
This whole structure is it's surprisingly complete. We started with emotion, moved to action, then to fortitude, and now we have arrow management. It really is a full operating system for progress.
And when you look at it all together, you see that resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about building a cognitive system that makes sure you absorb lessons from setbacks without getting emotionally wiped out by them.
Okay, so after laying all this out, the dialogue wraps it up with two final reinforcing statements. Jeremy ends his thought with, so don't give up.
And that line, it acts as a functional summary. It's the logical conclusion of everything that came before, because you've acknowledged the fear, and because you're taking small steps, and because you're affirming your ability to try, and because you're using errors as data.
Giving up just doesn't make sense anymore.
It becomes literally illogical. You've successfully engineered a system where continuing is the most natural thing to do.
And then Olivia gives us the final big picture payoff, tying it all the way back to her opening idea. She says, keep going. Your future is bright.
And that's the ultimate reward. It's so important to see that the bright future here isn't some kind of magical destiny. It's the mathematical result of applying this whole framework consistently over time.
It's the end of the equation.
It is. It's the culmination of everything. The acknowledged fear, the small steps, the self-talk, the learning from mistakes. They're basically saying, if you follow this process, a bright future isn't just possible, it's guaranteed.
That reframes the whole idea of motivation. It's not about waiting for a lightning bolt of inspiration. It's about designing a process that makes the outcome almost unavoidable.
Exactly. In just a handful of lines, this text gives us a rigorous 7-step structure for tackling any daunting goal. It takes these 7 common ideas and arranges them into a highly resilient sequence.
Let's just quickly review those tenets one last time for everyone listening to really make the framework stick.
Okay. First, acknowledge the dual reality of fear and excitement. Second, manage the scope with one step at a time. Third, guarantee consistency with a little progress every day is enough.
Then build your internal strength with the affirmation, I can do it.
Then you accept failure by realizing it's okay to make mistakes. Sixth, you leverage that failure because mistakes help us learn. And finally, number 7, commit completely to persistence with don't give up and keep going.
That gives you a full operational playbook for managing self-doubt and really accelerating your learning. This isn't just theory. It's practical psychology for building momentum.
And as you go forward, into your next challenge, a new skill, a complex project, this whole deep dive raises a really important question for you to think about. The source gives us 2 kinds of tools. There's the immediate, tactical advice, the action-oriented stuff like one step at a time.
And then there are the broad philosophical anchors, the mindset shifters like, it's okay to make mistakes.
So the final thought for you is this. Given that full toolkit, which of those 2 categories is the more essential starting point for you when you're facing a brand new challenge?
Do you need to set the action plan first, or do you need to secure the mindset before you can even think about taking a step?
Knowing your own personal starting point action or mindset could dramatically accelerate how fast and how resiliently you get to that bright future.
A great thought to end on. Thanks for diving deep with us. We hope these steady steps help you structure your next success.